In this tutorial, we're going to cover access modifiers. So I'll get started by right-clicking the default package, selecting New Class, and I'll call this class Access Modifiers, and click Finish. You've already seen examples of access modifiers. For example, when we create our main method by typing main and pressing Control Spacebar, notice that the keyword public is attached to that method. Now public is one of Java's access modifiers. The other three are private, protected, and default. So let's create method stubs for each. Let's say public void do something public. Let's say private void do something private. Let's say protected void do something protected. And for the last modifier, which is default access, you just leave the access modifier off. So we could just say void do something. So basically, access modifiers can put restrictions on how parts of your code can be accessed, if at all. Because our do something public method has public visibility, it can be accessed anywhere in our program so long as we have an object of type access modifiers to call it from. So let's put in a comment saying public visibility means that this method can be accessed anywhere in the program so long as you have an instance of this class to call it from. And I'm going to break that into 2 lines. Now what about our do something private method? This one has the access modifier private. Well, what private means is that this method is not visible outside of this class, so no other parts of your program can access it. So to put in a comment for that, we could say private visibility means that this method can't be accessed anywhere other than inside of this class. Now the other 2 modifiers, protected and default, you won't be able to fully understand until we cover packages and inheritance. But we'll put what restrictions they impose in a comment anyways. So protected visibility means that this method can only be accessed inside of this package and from subclasses of this class. And you will understand what a subclass is when we cover inheritance, and I will probably cover packages in the next tutorial. And for the default access modifier, default visibility means that this method can only be accessed inside of this package. So default is very similar to protected, except protected allows subclasses outside of this package to access the method. And again, that will become more clear once we cover inheritance. So if we look at the 4 access modifiers and kind of rate them in terms of how much access they restrict, we would say that private is the most restrictive. After private, it would be default, because default means that it can only be accessed within this package. The next would be protected, because it includes this package as well as subclasses. And finally, it would be public, which means that anything that has a reference to an object can call the method through that reference. Now, all of these modifiers can also be applied to variables. For example, we can say private int x and public int y, as well as protected and default. Now, generally speaking, you want to keep everything as private as possible. And if you recall, in a previous tutorial, we created methods called getters and setters, which allowed us to get the values of and change the values of our variables. Whenever you use getters and setters, your variables should probably be private. You could make the case to make them protected or default, but they certainly should not be public. So that's about all I want to say about access modifiers for now. And once again, we'll revisit this and show examples once we've covered packages and inheritance. For now, just know that in general, you should try to make methods, and certainly variables, as private as possible. This helps to both make your program more secure and to simplify the interfaces for your objects. Thanks for watching.